Hello, welcome to Three Crows Runes. My name is Jen. Let's do some rune readings. Today we are doing readings about Pick-an-Alligator, because alligators, in my dream mythology, have to do with that hidden part of yourself that is very comfortable hidden and that craves that craves the solitude, the healing solitude. This is not just for introverts. This is for anybody who has, when they finally get alone, that part of themselves that they can just be, and they don't have to worry about it. They could just be it. So this is basically going to be a reading about how this is helping you and how you mustn't neglect it, and always be aware of your alligator. So and how it is helping you. So I have four. Well, one of them isn't an alligator, but that's because I didn't have any other alligators that were small enough. So I have really big alligator, but it's not big plush alligator. And I have a slightly bigger than this alligator that is too big for this picture. So we've substituted a caiman for the last alligator, but they're all crocodilians, so it's all good. So we have a soft plush alligator, which is the Thai Beanie Baby alligator, whom I have named Spot. We have we have a very nice plastic alligator from Schleich. We have an alligator brooch pin, and we have the Cayman and Poppy, which is about dreams, which is very, very much in keeping with what I'm talking about here. It's just that very subconscious, often almost subconscious, but often very subconscious element of aspect of yourself that you're very comfortable with, but only when you're very much in solitude in a good way. So, and that is very healing for you, as are dreams. So feel into these four crocodilians. One or more of these will have a message for you about that aspect of yourself. I will put the timestamps in the description, and I will see you at the readings. Bye! Hello to all of you who chose to go with the stuffed alligator that I like. Well, I like all of them, but to go with the plush alligator. I'm just going to lay him on the side here. There you go. And I am going to smooth this out. We're going to start with a card from the Wisdom of the Oracle deck. This is basically going to be a bit of a key into the reading that we are going to be doing. Just making sure everything seems to be running. So this is going to be give us an idea of what it is for you that you have chaos and conflict. Okay, interesting. So this is for you. Your alligator is a way for you to sort of integrate where there is conflict in your life and just sort of like, no, you know what? It isn't, because it is and it isn't. So for you, when you are alone and when you have the solitude that you can finally take your alligator out and be with your alligator aspect of self, first of all, it's where you're getting away from the conflict, first of all. It's you're like finally away from it and you're safe from it and you feel comfortable and you feel able to deal with that, like able to not have to worry about it. But and so your outer layer of who you present when you're out in the world can actually crumble off, and you can reveal your true self and with yourself. And wherever there was conflict between who you actually are and who you present to be in the world, that can be let go of. And at the same time, also, it's a way for you to sort of steep in your emotional state and in your dreams and things, and sort of just start integrating things, including aspects of self, which may be about integrating the self you present with the self that you truly are, your alligator aspect. But that's sort of all going on. Mostly, though, from the way the picture of this card is, it's a way to let go of that. It's a way to you do have some conflict happening between the self you present out in the world when you're not in solitude, your comfortable solitude, and the self that you present when you don't even have to present it, you just are when you are in your comfortable state of solitude. So let's get some runes down. We have the Elder Futhark on bone runes today. I don't know what bone this is. When I was asking at the shop, they said probably some bovid, so makes things easy. Yeah. So for you, definitely we have a situation where you feel that you have to present a self to the world that is not really that. I don't know if it's. I mean, you wouldn't be able to present it if it wasn't sort of true. But there's a true you that gets covered when you're out in the world, being out in the world. So as you can tell, I'm laying down the entire reading before I'm starting. Okay. So what to know about this? So our central issue here is Algi's reversed. Algi's is the rune of protection and support. It is reversed on the central issue. So I am going to read this a couple ways. First of all, when you are able to let your alligator out and be this true you that you generally only get to be when you're in solitude and you're very comfortable with that, this is something you do on your own. This is not something that you are doing out in the world, not something that you're presenting in the world. At the same time, you do feel there is a sense of, and this is where a lot of the conflict comes in, is that you feel that you're not supported or that you wouldn't be supported or protected if they knew that it was a zebra under the giraffe stripes. So, I mean, the giraffe spots. So you've got I think that's a plains zebra, or maybe it's a mountain because there's a little bit of a dewlap, and then underneath that is an overlaid on that is a reticulated giraffe spots. So, yeah. So basically, there's this sense of, if I showed who I actually was, I don't know that I would be supported. I don't know that I would be protected. So it's a bit of a worry for that. Leading up to that, we have Algi's. This is Algi's. Ounces, which is the rune of communication and manifestation. And I'm seeing this really as about the way that you manifest out in the world. You're out in the world manifesting. You're out communicating with people, you're out there, expressing, but then you come home and you're like, now I can be who I actually am, but that's a problem because I don't feel that I am supported as who I actually am in the world, or even protected as I actually am in the world. And I have to put up this expressive front face, the giraffe over the zebra. So what is going to help you? We have Uruz, which is the rune of the wild ox. This has to do with strength and health and stubbornness, in that it's like resistance, sort of standing up and standing your ground. And that's, I think, going to be a part of what's going to help, is just to be able to find a way to stand your ground and to just remember how strong you are. I mean, you're going through this, so you already have proof that you're strong. Basically, hang on a second, let me just see if I can get this a little less crooked. Turning to that, remembering how strong you are, remembering how, you do actually have a great strength to you, but also to be able to stand your ground in that, and to maybe just start to remember that. First of all, remember your strength. And I'm sort of looking ahead to see if there's anywhere you're going to be like going out there as who you actually are, like to have more of that presenting. Right now, I'm just sort of seeing, that you're worried about lack of support, you're worried about lack of protection, but you're reminding yourself that you do have the strength and you are very strong, and able to stand your ground regardless, even if you are just presenting something that you think is what people want instead of who you truly are. So what isn't going to help is don't give up. We have Tivaz reversed. Tivaz is Tyr's rune. Tyr's the warrior god. He does have to do with picking up and driving forward, but mostly what I see this as is taking care of things that need to be taken care of. It is reversed on the lower line, so reading this in a couple of ways again, we have do not give up. You may feel a bit like, I feel like I'm not being supported, but at the same time, it's the cat. I'm sorry, I paused because I looked at the cat. At the same time, don't neglect the things that you need to do just because you are currently keeping your alligator slightly hidden. Definitely don't neglect that. Remember that you are strong. That even if some of the alligator peeks out while you're out, it's not the end of the world. You are inherently strong, and you do actually present as inherently strong anyway, which is something that is actually true. It's the big truth that comes through, is that how strong you are, whatever you're presenting. So your next step on the path line, we have Yira, which is the rune of the harvest, and also time. This is the center pinning of the reading. So ultimately, the power moment is going to be, you're going to find your moment. You're going to find your moment to sort of reveal the rich abundance of who you are. It's going to be, you'll know the time. It's not going to be like right now, but it's going to be very close. It's like there's a sense of like within a step or two, it's going to be like, okay, now is the time. I feel like I am in a state of abundance. I feel like I have what I need to keep me nourished to do this. And there will be a moment fairly shortly where you're going to be able to bring this through. And it's going to be just like basically for the people who you love and trust, it's going to be just more of who you are. And that's the important thing. What is going to help you is we have Sovila. Yes, I know it doesn't look like Sovila, but in this particular rune set, that's our Sovila. So it's the sun. This has to do with source energy. So make sure that you are tapping into the things that always energize you and that always keep you nourished and balanced. We have Sovilo and the harvest here. So this is sort of what is going to feed and nourish the reveal of like the bringing forward of your more rich self. So it's not going to be so much of a conflict thing anymore. It's going to be like, no, and by the way, this is also who I am. I'm everything that you knew me as, but I'm also this. I'm not going to hide that anymore. So definitely keep close contact with the things that keep you nourished and keep you energized, because the sun has to do with source energy and your connection to it. So whatever it is that whenever you do it or whenever you access it, it always gives you source energy. What isn't going to help is you're worried about it. You're worried about the reveal. We have Paratha, which is in a lot box. It has to do with surprises and fate. So it's upright. It's a positive rune in a negative spot. So it's a worry about that thing you are worried about revealing, because you've gone all this time where every time you go out, you're not that. And this has been kept very carefully, for only you. But it does create conflict for you. So it's a good idea to just start to be more of who you are as you go through the world, and then you'll have those resources that you have when you're more in connection with your alligator. So if that starts to worry you, just remember that you are going to have with you everything that you need to keep you energized and balanced and nourished and all the good stuff while you're out there. So it's not going to be so scary for you. And just once again, you're carrying forward your inherent strength. So that's good. What your next step is, we have Ivaz, which is the rune of the yew tree. This has to do with patience, slow growth, slow development, step by step. It's not going to be an immediate thing. This is just going to be the first carrot out of the ground kind of thing. It's like, by the way. And then step by step, you're going to start to integrate. And a lot of it's going to be moving between worlds, between your giraffe presentation and your zebra, which is your true self, or between what you present in the world and your alligator self. So it's not going to be immediate. You're going to take your time with it. You're going to be revealing bits of it at a time. You're going to be sort of moving between worlds, and you're being patient with yourself and with the situation. What's going to help you with that is we have Nauthies, which is the rune of need. Make sure that you're tending your needs. Make sure that you're taking care of your needs in this. I mean, this is all helping each other. So we've got your inherent strength, we've got tapping into your source energy, and we've got making sure that your needs are taken care of, because that's going to keep you on top of things while you do this integration process. What isn't going to help is we have Raido reversed. It is a kind of an end of a journey for you, because all along you go out and you've got this it's not false, because it's something that was very much, it's still you, but it's not all of you. You have kind of a surface, you were wearing like a surface skin that was hiding your true skin while you were out. And so you're ending that, and it's hard to end something that you've done for so long. So it's going to be a bit difficult. You may want to abort the journey that you're starting because it's like, okay, you know what, just kidding, I'm not doing this anymore, and I'll just keep my alligator at my home. But no, that's not going to help you. And at the same time, it's also worries about ending the journey that you were on, where you were going out in the world and presenting as something that you weren't entirely. So if that starts to be a worry for you that drags you down, bring yourself back up to where you are making sure that all your needs are tended to, and then that will help you with this integration. Your final step on the path line of this particular reading, your outcome for this particular reading, is Avaz reversed. Avaz is the rune of the horse. This has to do with movement and also spirit. When it's reversed, it's inner. But it's also, so yes, you are moving forward inwardly on your way. Spirit is carrying you inwardly, whatever spirit is for you. But I'm also very much seeing this as not feeling as exhausted, because you're not switching between selves anymore. Like once you've got this integration down, it's going to be so much easier in your life because you're not going to be having to remember what you're hiding and what you're not. You're not going to have to remember, who you're presenting as. It's like I don't know if you've seen the movie Down with Love. There's a great outtake in it where, because Ewan McGregor is playing two presentations of like the same character, and so he's himself, but then he's pretending to be another character in some scenes, but he's the same character. So he's in the scene, he's like, who am I again? So it's basically, you're not going to be doing that. You're not going to be doing that anymore once you've integrated, because you won't be like, okay, I want to say this thing, but I can't say it as who I present with publicly. But now you can, because you're not really presenting only as that one aspect of you anymore. You're presenting as it's not even a presentation anymore. You're being who you are more as you are out in the world. So it's going to be less running around for you. It's going to be less even less mental running around for you. So it's going to be much more relaxing, and you won't feel as exhausted. So that, plush alligator choosing people, is your reading for your Pick-an-Alligator. I wish you all the best with this, and I wish you a lovely day or evening. Take care till next time. Bye. Hello, alligator number 2 people. So all of you who chose the plastic alligator from Schleich, I'm going to move him over here. Look, his mouth opens and everything. Look at how cool that is. Rawr, rawr. Well, kind of like because they do that deep growly sound. So I'm going to move the alligator over there, and I'm going to start with a card from the Wisdom of the Oracle deck. Why am I doing this? Because in a dream I just recently had, I had a little pet alligator in a tiny one, like about this size, in a little container that I carried with me, and it was like about that. It was about, I have this aspect of myself that I don't show everybody, but there are a few people that I trust that I can show. So I'm like, okay, I'm doing a reading about that. Okay, so what is our card for that? Treasure Island. Yes, so the thing that the alligator wants you to know is that it is a source of great riches for you. Your alligator aspect, whatever it is when you are home alone or in a state of solitude and you bring this alligator out, this is a lot of riches for you that are coming out and that are very, very good for you. So let's get some runes down. I'm using the bone runes. And this is something that really helps you, even if people don't see it. Even when you're out and about in the world, and you have this with you inside always. And even though nobody sees it, look at those runes that were just in the other reading. But in this, like, not in the same places, but it's kind of neat. I'm going to lay down the whole reading first, and then we're going to go from there. I did mix these. Not only are these runes going down that were in the last reading, well, okay, that one wasn't, but they're like this in the same orientation, except for that one. Okay, not entirely, and they're in different places, so it's all right. Central issue for you, alligator number 2 people, is Fehu reversed. Fehu is the rune of wealth and worth, and reversed, it has to do with inner, so it has to do with confidence and self-esteem and self-worth. So this is very much integral to your self-worth. This is like your buried treasure, this alligator aspect of yourself, and you don't show very many people, but it's there, and it's always there for you, and it brings you great internal riches and internal treasure, but it also is like it's something that you always have access to, and it's very, wherever you go, it's with you, and it contributes to your self-esteem and your self-worth, and it's just a beautiful aspect of yourself that you can always refer to, and not refer to like in speech, but just turn to wherever you are, and that you have this with you at all times. So it does help you feel more confident in the world, even if nobody sees it. So, because you have these riches, even if they're buried, but they're yours. So, leading up to this, we have the blank rune. I think maybe you didn't, and maybe until recently you weren't consciously aware of this aspect of yourself. Maybe this is something that you just sort of, I think you always took pleasure from it. I think it was something that was always a joy for you, but in terms of solidifying it mentally for yourself as something that you have and something that is always with you and something that is always a part of you. I think it wasn't really clear. It was sort of like just an amorphous part of your background music, but now you are very aware of it. And this is one of the reasons that like you're thinking, it's like, well, I have this, and this is something that's always a part of me no matter where I go. And even though I'm not showing everybody, like waving it around, it does give me confidence, and it does give me a sense of self-worth in the world, and it is my source of treasure in the world, like my source of the richness of my life. So what's going to help you with this as you go out in the world is that just basically be able to always have access to the things that give you energy and that give you nourishment. We have Sovila, which is the rune of the sun. This is going to help you. The sun has to do with source energy, so always be able to tap into whatever it is that always gives you access to your source energy. So whether this is, like listening to music or creating something or going outside into nature, but this is whatever it is that whenever you access it or whenever you do it, always gives you energy, always energizes you, always gives you nourishment. Keeping hold of that, like keeping in touch with that will always help you, especially if you start to falter in your confidence. You're like, no, wait a minute, but I have these things that I can do. And this also connects you with your alligator aspect, which puts you in touch with your riches. So it's very exciting. What isn't going to help is there may be a temptation to freeze while you're out and about. If you're going around, in out in the world, hopefully feeling very confident and hopefully feeling, even if you're not presenting a lot of like worth and worthiness in the world, you are still internally feeling that self-worth and feeling that confidence. But you may be tempted sometimes to just freeze. You may be tempted to like not move forward. You may be tempted that sort of to sink back in what you used to have, where you weren't connected with this so much, where you weren't feeling this access that you had to your inner riches. And that would be just like habit, kind of like falling back on not remembering that you do have full access to all of this. And so if you start to feel like that, hopefully you'll remember, oh yeah, I have access to this. I have access to my alligator aspect. I have access to my internal treasure and everything that makes my life feel rich at all times. And also anything else that is like that taps you into your source energy. So just try to remember, basically. What this is going to lead you to your next step, which is a real sense of being able to stand up in the world. And this is like what pins your whole reading. This is your center rune of the whole reading. So we have Algi's reversed. Algi's is the rune of the elk. This has to do with protection and support. It's reversed, so it's inner. So this is basically you being able to stand up in the world. And so it's almost like you've recently consciously connected with this and said, okay, you know what? This is something that I have. This is excellent. I love it. And then you're working on going out in the world with confidence because you have this, you have access to this. And then your next step is you're going to be a lot more comfortable with this. You're going to be a lot more comfortable standing up on your own, knowing that you have this internally and just being able to support yourself and protect yourself with this, to always have this. What's going to help you with that is just put an end to your old chapter of where you didn't consciously have access to this. We have Raido reversed. Raido's the rune of the journey, and reversed it can either be an ending of a journey or an internalization of a journey, which you do have. You are continuing your journey internally, but I really do see this as ending the chapter of the way it used to be, where you didn't feel that you had access to the things that were supporting you, like yourself. So just let go of that. Let go of that old you where you didn't feel that you had that, where you felt this sense of lack. You don't have that sense of lack anymore. You have access to all the things that give you this sense of inner worth and inner riches. What isn't going to help you is you may feel like, a couple things. I'm going to read this a couple things. We may feel like things are, you may feel like that's all well and good, but what if things get out of hand, first of all? So this is Kaunas, which is the rune of the torch. That's the fire. Something that starts small like an ember and goes into a blaze. It's generally a very positive rune, but it's in a negative spot. So it's generally about a worry about that thing. So you're sort of worried about things getting out of hand, and that even with this, you won't have enough of yourself to handle it. In that it is also next to this sense of freezing. There is this idea, I know fire and ice, but it's that sense of if things get out of hand, I may revert to my old way of being, which is to basically submerge and freeze. The alligator is also very much about, submersing, and also like water being emotion. You might want to submerge. Oh my gosh, immerse, submerge. You might want to sink down into your emotion first of all, and then you're in the middle of it, but also just to where you're not being seen anymore, and that's sort of a fallback on what you used to do, but you're not doing that anymore. So if things start to get out of hand, even if things do, but mostly if you're just worried about it, bring yourself back up to it's like, tell yourself, no, I'm done with that. I am done. I finished with that when I realized that this is something that I had. This is something that's always with me. I don't have to worry about that anymore, and I can stand up. I have this sense of inner worth that I didn't have before, because even though I already had this, I didn't realize or recognize it. So now I know I have it. I can end that way of being. Just remember is the key. Your next step is we have Ansus, which is the rune of communication and manifestation. You're going to be able to be out in the world expressing yourself. This is going to come through even if you don't broadcast it. Like just this, the riches are going to fall from your mouth, like in the fairy tale. where she just, as she speaks, gold pieces fall from her mouth, which would be incredibly difficult to deal with, but I realize that's, anyway. So at least it wasn't the toads that her stepsister had to deal with, but that was her own doing. So, so you're going to be able to go out in the world now that you feel like you're able to stand up in the world, and you're going to feel comfortable expressing yourself in the world because you have access to this, and that's going to come through. Even if it's not something that you're broadcasting, you're even just in your normal day-to-day expression, you're going to be expressing these riches that you have within you and that are coming really from this aspect of yourself that you weren't really consciously aware of for a while, and then that you weren't really showing off. And you're not going to be showing off, but you're going to be just expressing, and it's going to come through, and it's going to be very, very lovely. What's going to help you? I'm going to read this a few ways. We have Lagu's reversed, which is the rune of the water. It's emotion, intuition, heart, and flow. It is reversed on the upper line. So first of all, dreams are a meaning of Lagu's reversed in the helping line. So if you're someone who remembers dreams, look to your dreams, because they are going to help you. They're going to keep your life enriched. They're going to add that extra layer of richness to your life. Secondly, seek to stay in touch with your inner heart. I mean, these sort of balance, like bookend each other, where it's, you're tapping into your source energy, but you're also looking and making sure that you're in connection with your heart. Surf negative emotions. Any negative emotions that surge up, resist the urge to immerse and hide. Basically stay on the surface of them as much as possible. And look to your intuition. And it's going to be intuition about yourself. Like basically listen to yourself, because sometimes it may be necessary for you to just submerge, and that'll make you feel better, and you'll be able to replenish your energy if that's part of it. So just make sure, it's like, obviously this is a very introverted, in terms of something that recharges in solitude aspect of yourself, even if you are not yourself an introvert. But this is something that you may need sometimes to give yourself time and space and silence and solitude for. So just to be aware of that, all of those things, and that's going to keep you able to express comfortably as you're out in the world, because this helps you sort it all out, really. What isn't going to help is we have freeze, feeling things are getting out of hand and not moving forward. These are the things that are not going to help you. And these all echo each other. So we have Ava's reversed, which is the rune of the horse, and this has to do with movement and spirit. Reversed, it's in the lower line, so it's like not moving forward, just like this temptation to freeze. If you worry that things are going to get out of hand, and then you may get it to a point where you just feel like you can't move forward again. So it's just sort of a reversion to the wanting to freeze, but also just so you might feel like, you're worried about like And it's not just even worry. It's like, don't stop moving forward. Just like, don't stop moving forward is definitely a message. So if that starts to be a temptation or a worry, or even something that you sort of go, and you're like not moving, bring yourself back up to where you are, tapping into your heart. You're looking inward. You're keeping an eye on what's going on with your emotions and your intuition about yourself. And you're also, what was the first thing I said about Lagos first? Dreams. Let your dreams speak to you. And just basically make sure that inner flow is going on. Keep your inner flow clear so that you can look to it to see how you're doing, and make sure that you are able to act quickly to take care of your alligator if you need to. What this is going to lead you to is a greater sense of inner strength and less of an inclination to resist things that are coming at you. We have Uru's reversed, strength, health, and resistance. Reversed, it's inner strength, inner health, because you're keeping that flow going on, and also releasing your resistance as you go through the world. So that is your reading, alligator number 2 people, for Pick-an-Alligator. I wish you all the best with this, and I wish you a lovely day or evening. Take care till next time. Bye. Hello to all of you who chose alligator number 3, the little alligator pin. Very nice alligator pin. So let's get started with a card from the Wisdom of the Oracle deck. And this will be sort of giving us a key to what kind of thing you're dealing with your alligator. What it is for you. What it is for you in the world. You're getting a really good recording of my shuffling these cards. And we have flexible. Okay, interesting. So what your alligator gives to you is a greater sense of flexibility, because this is something that it's sort of like, I'm not going to say a backup plan, but it's kind of a backup you. It's that it's an extra bundle of resources that you don't normally use in the world as your regularly presenting self out in public, but it's something that you have. Look at how they balance. Look at this. Isn't that gorgeous? Oh my gosh, like, I'm delighted with this. Look at how they mirror each other, or just basically rhyme each other. Beautiful. So even in the picture, it's like, here she is out in the world doing her thing, but she has this other self in an egg. So very, very cool. So it's for you, your alligator, what you really only are comfortable with at the moment when you're home alone or somewhere in solitude alone, is just this extra set of skills, or this extra set of who you are, resources that you can use. So it does make you a little more flexible, because even if you're out in the world, presenting as you normally do, suddenly like something can come up and you're like, wait a minute, I know how to deal with this. And people around you are like, where did that come from? You're like, I always had this. So, or just, do it a little bit more cool. Ooh, we had that as the center in the first reading too, which is kind of neat. Okay, I'm going to lay all these down, and it's a bright little reading I can see already. And we have that. Beautiful. Look at that. So your central issue, alligator number 3 people, is Nauthi's reversed. Nauthi's is a rune of need. It always means tend your needs, but when it's reversed, it has to do with drop everything and tend your needs. So it does speak of a bit of an emergency when it happens, like sort of suddenly the need arises and you already have this. You have the flexibility of this extra bundle of resources. So it's sort of like you sort of have that, and you're very lucky and happy to have that. Leading up to this, you just generally gallop along. Like, you're just going along with your normally presenting public facade. Actually, it's not a facade because it's actually who you are, but it's your normally presenting self. We have Avaz, which is the horse. This has to do with movement and spirit. So you're just galloping along, moving forward. And then if you hit a moment where it's like this, and maybe this is this moment, like maybe in this moment you're realizing the time has come because I need it right now. This is like almost an emergency situation where I need to bring out my alligator bundle. And the other thing this could mean is inner needs, because this is very integral to taking care of your inner needs is having this bundle, having your alligator, and having this flexibility to that when you're in solitude and comfortable, that you have this, and this takes care of you in that sense. But really, I'm also seeing this as in a situation where it's drop everything, we have to take care of this. You have this on hand, and like people don't even know. Like, this is really cool. What is going to help you with this is that this allows you to know more about who you are. We have Perthel reversed, which is the rune of the lot box. This has to do with surprises and fate. It's reversed on the helping line, so it's inner. So this is something that it's almost like you switch back and forth between these skill sets without even thinking about it when you're not in public. But when you're in public, it's sort of like, well, you already have this, but then you don't think of this other, you don't think of your alligator generally. But now you're in a situation where you're like, oh no, oh no, oh no, as the person that you're presenting as in general. But then you're like, wait a minute, I totally know how to deal with this because of my alligator. So I'm going to bring this out, and this will help you learn about yourself in situations and how you think and who you are. This extra aspect of self that you can actually bring out and have in the world and use in the public world to take care of things that need taken care of. Now, what doesn't help is we have Hagalaz, which is the rune of hailstorm. This has to do with chaos and things that are out of your control, and weather, things that blow in. We're having crazy weather today. We just had like a big thunderstorm for a couple hours. But anyway, that's beside the point. This has to do with this. So in your everyday running around in your forward-facing, presenting public image self, things that come up that are out of your control and that are chaotic and that blow in like a storm, they freak the horse out. So this is your horse that you're galloping, and all of a sudden the storm comes up and you're like, what is this? And it would be very easy to forget that you have an alligator, and just let yourself be panicked by this. But if that starts to happen, if you feel your horse being panicked, bring yourself back up to, it's like, wait a minute, no, I have a secret alligator. And that's going to help us through this. And it totally will help through this. So it's very good. It's excellent. And it's this part of yourself that you can just, you're basically learning that you have access to. It's like those dreams where you find an extra room in your house and it's like, ooh, I have this extra thing. So your next step is the center rune of the entire spread, which is Yira, which is the rune of the harvest and also time. You're bringing this through. By the time, like at this moment, you're realizing this is something you can use. And it's a way to give yourself a lot more flexibility. By the next step, you're going to be like, this is something I am going to use. I'm going to bring this through whenever I need it. And it's very exciting. And so it's like a harvest in your life. And you couldn't have done it until this point. So don't beat yourself up for not having done it yet, like up until this point, because you're just picking up on it now. But it's gorgeous and it's fantastic. And you're like, I am going to bring this through now. Now is the time. The time was never right before, but now it is. What is going to help you with that? It makes you really happy because you feel much more whole. Like you feel like more of who you are because you're using more of who you are. So we have Vunyo, which is the rune of joy. It's going to give you a great sense of joy to be more of who you are in the world. It's wonderful. Like, I don't even have more to say about that. It's just basically like what's going to help you is that it's going to make you feel really happy and content and good. What isn't going to help is it is outside of your comfort zone. Because when you're out in the world, automatically your autopilot is gallop, gallop, gallop. I am this forward-facing presenting horse. You may have any other associations, but this is just for the purposes of the symbology of the reading. And so to be that and with your alligator aspect, it is outside of your comfort zone. It's not what you're used to. And you're really only used to using your alligator when you're at home. So that's something that you're getting used to. It's not super comfortable for you out in public to be with your alligator out. But so that might drag you down. You may feel very, a bit self-conscious. You may feel a bit off balance. But just bring yourself back up to how wonderful it feels. Like, it feels fantastic. Like, you will feel like you have superpowers because you haven't used this in public before, and now you are very regularly bringing it out and just like being so much more of who you are than you were before, and with just like this extra element to who you are. It's just wonderful. It makes you feel great. So that's what's going to help you the most in this moment where you're just regularly bringing it out. Your next step on the path line, it is pouring rain out. So yeah, more. Your next step on the path line is we have Dagas, which is the rune of the breaking of the day. This is the big aha. This is the big moment of enlightenment, of revelation, this is going to fill your entire field of vision. This is like everything is going to be lit up. You're going to feel like you see everything. You're going to feel like you are more of everything than you ever were before. There's always a worry about overwhelm, but really it just feels so good that you're just letting yourself be who you are and like everything. This is like that meme that I saw a while back. It's like, what if we all just turned all of our magic all the way the F on? And that's basically the thing. It's like because you're having success with this, now you're sort of thinking like, what else that I can comfortably reveal can I reveal? Like what else? What more of who I am can I be and have access to wherever I go? Because there's no need to hide these things. Like I want to be everything that I am, and it's wonderful, and it gives me so much resource, and it gives me so much of who I am in the world, and I can just shine like the sun. So it's just wonderful. And so you're sort of thinking about that, as well as just like letting yourself be and letting yourself shine in the world. What is going to help you? You don't want to let everything out. I mean, it's great, but like, okay, let's dial it back a little bit. We have Ingvaz, which is the rune of Ing. This has to do with Frey. Frey's the fertility god, so this has to do with active creation. But it's also, if you look at the younger Futharks, you get where it's about thinking about the future, and it's thinking about continuity and perpetuity, and like we might want to be careful with what we're going to present, because we don't want to like be everything. So there may be you may need to put up like some lattice work and some you might want to make sure that you're editing and weeding to a certain extent. But it's going to feel great. I mean, it doesn't mean you're not going to be able to express everything, but just like make sure that you're framing things in a way that is, I don't know, I don't want to say socially acceptable, but I am going to say socially acceptable. Like, you don't want to be like totally everything. Maybe you do, but what will help you is just to make sure that you have a certain framework for some of it. Like, obviously, it's not going to be everything. You're not going to like run around naked. Don't do that unless it's like appropriate. But just be who you are, but as much as you can, and shine. But be aware that there are situations where you might want to put a frame around it. What isn't going to help you is we have Tivaz, which is the rune of tears rune. This is just basically driving forward and just like da da da. Look at me, I am on a parade and I am everything. It's like, okay, that's good, but first of all, that's going to really annoy people. Not that I mean, yes, obviously my normal reaction to that is okay, the heck with them, but you might want to consider what it's going to look like, and what you're like, even if it's just to keep yourself from cringing when you look back on the day. So yeah, Tivaz, Tears the warrior god. You want to look, we got two gods here, although they're both very helpful in general. In this case, you don't want to be like uber yang. You want to be okay, we have all of this and it's great, and I'm very creative, and I'm being creative about the way I'm presenting it. It's not just like all out big giant flash everything. It's basically being creative about it, making sure that you've got a frame around the things that need frames around them, because some things do, and then you'll be good. So your outcome of the reading is we have Algiz reversed. Algiz is the rune of the elk, or the moose, and this has to do with protection and support. It is reversed on the path line, which is inner, so it's being able to stand up and be who you are and be independent and be able to support yourself and protect yourself, and being very comfortable about it. So that's what it's all going to lead to. Ultimately, you're going to feel very comfortable being who you are in the world without having to worry about, the support or validation of others. So that, alligator number 3 people, is your reading about Pick-an-Alligators. I wish you all the best with this, and I wish you a lovely day or evening. Take care till next time. Bye. Hello, alligator number 4 people. Those of you who chose the caiman and poppy. Okay, a caiman's not an alligator, but I didn't have any other alligators that were the right size for this reading. It's still a crocodilian, and we still have much the same meaning. So caiman and poppy is dreams. This has to do with just that subtle, slightly submerged lives that we have. I'm going to move that over there, and we're going to start with a card from the Wisdom of the Oracle deck to give us an idea of what the alligator is for you in your life, this aspect of yourself. Based on the card, it's definitely going to be about subconscious. It's definitely going to be to do with that inner life, that slightly submerged inner life where you move between worlds. Very exciting. I feel like I don't even have to put down a card, but I'm going to because I've committed to the bit. So let's get a card from this about this. Observer, beautiful. Thank you for doing that for me, cards. Also, thank you for the little fox, because you all know I'm a fox fan. So, little foxes, in dreams especially, foxes. So, observer. So this is how your alligator is helping you, because you're able to go deep. You're able to go very, very subconscious. And this is a way that you can look at the things in your life and what they mean for you mythically, which is very important, because this is how we get meaning in our lives about the things. And you can basically look over the things, and when you're looking at things in dreams, and once again, if you're not someone who remembers your dreams easily, this is basically just the subconscious, your subconscious perception of the things around you. So even if you don't remember your dreams, what you would need to see in your dreams are what is going to be coming to your attention in the world around you. This is one of the reasons why once you start recording your dreams, like not necessarily recording, but getting them down some way, whether it's writing or recording or whatever, once you start paying attention to your dreams, you're going to go, oh my gosh, I'm psychic, because you're going to see things around you in the day that are things that you dreamed about. Maybe not specifically, but you're going to see, like you might dream of like a yellow bird, and then you'll go out and you'll see a yellow bird. Yes, you are psychic, but also the images are going to be presenting themselves to you as long as you need them to, until you get them, until you get what they're telling you. So yes, don't doubt that you're psychic, because everybody is to a certain extent. But at the same time, it's just, don't worry if you can't remember your dreams, because you're still going to be getting the images coming at you, and they are still going to resonate with you, and you're still going to notice them. So whether this is about sleep dreams for you, or whether this is about just observing things from a subconscious standpoint, the things that you notice in the world, this is a way that you're going to be able to observe that aspect of your life and observe, what it means, get the meaning for these things, and in a way that's going to be meaningful for you in the world. And it's all good. So let's get some runes down. These are bone runes. I don't know what kind of bone they are. When I asked at the shop, the guy said probably bovid. So we can only hope. But anyway, I'm laying down the entire reading first, and then we're going to read them, and then we're going to know what's going on with that. Ooh, interesting. Okay, so your central issue, we have Manas reversed. Manas is the rune of humanity and your part in it. It is reversed in the central issue spot, which means you are turning away from the din of humanity, and you are basically going, thank you very much, din of humanity, but I'm going to look inward at this point, and I'm going to spend time with myself, and I'm going to listen to my own drummer and my own music. And this is where you are turning inward, and you're looking to either what is presenting to you in a meaningful way, or your dreams themselves, if you remember your dreams. And through that, you are becoming the observer of the things on that deeper, truer mythic level where the meaning comes in for you. Leading up to this, we have Dagas, which is the breaking of the day. It's just this burst of information coming at you. It's all in your face. It's filling your entire field of vision. It's a bit of overwhelm. And this is why you've decided to put that overwhelm at arm's length, so that you can integrate it and really have a look at it and sort of filter through it and see what it is for you, what it means for you. What is going to help you is we have Othala reversed. Othala is the rune of the home and the homeland. Reversed, it's inner. So you're going into your inner sense of home. You're letting go of things that don't serve you, and you are finding a sense of home within. It is a sort of a stepping out of your comfort zone sometimes too, but mostly I'm really seeing this let's turn inward. Let's go into our inner sense of home. What isn't going to help you is this was big and overwhelming, and you may feel like Either you're worried that something is going to present itself to you that is going to surprise you, that is going to be like going to shock you, or I mean, it's not negative. It's upright in the lower line. It's Perthos, the lot box. So this is surprises and fate. It's in the lower line. It's worries about, what if my fate presents itself to me, where it's going to be something that shocks me. But also, you're just worried about what's going to be revealed, and that you just feel like you've seen too much already anyway. When you're out in the world, it's just like coming at you. So it's just this sense of overwhelm, and you're worried about the things that are going to come at you and shock you. So this is why you're turning inward. So just like, no, you're going to look in your inner mythic world. You're turning inward. You're letting go of the things that aren't serving you. And you're just basically going into where you don't need that din. You don't need the rest of everybody. You're just basically finding your own inner melody and connecting with that. And through that, you're going to observe what's going on from the way it resonates within you, and thereby finding meaning for it. Your next rune on the path is Vunyo reversed. Vunyo is the rune of joy. It's the center rune of the entire reading, so it's what pins it. You're really going to find joy within. Like, it's like you're looking, and it's like, aha, okay, that little kernel of what makes me happy, that's what I'm going to work on. That's what I'm going to focus on. It's your inner joy. It's your deep inner joy. Maybe it's like was hidden for a long time and now you're finding it. The other thing it is being aware of where you are discontented. These things go together. Like finding what it is that made you turn away and go inward. And you're like, okay, I'm going to acknowledge that there was something that was making me feel discontented. I'm in here now looking through things, and I have found the kernel of inner joy that I need, and I need to integrate this into my life. So what's going to help is integrating it into your life. So you found the kernel or kernels of inner joy that you want to bring through and that you want to use to sort of overwhelm the discontentment because it's what was missing. You are going to need to do some creative work, but you're using what you have to shape things into what you need them to be. We have Ingvaz, which is Ing's rune. It's active creation. So you're basically going to creatively start weaving the things that give you joy into your life in such a way that it starts to alleviate your discontentment. What isn't going to help you? We have Gabo, which is the rune of the gift. This has to do with an exchange. It's agreements, decisions, plans, and goals. There are obligations that you are going to feel dragged down by. You may feel like it may even be something as simple, wow, the sun's out. Weird. It's pouring rain, sun. I wonder if there's a rainbow. I can't see one from here. I digress. So you may feel that there are obligations that you need to deal with. It may be as simple as I'm an adult, so I'm not allowed to be happy, which is like poopy. Do not do that. Yes, you're allowed to be happy. You're allowed to have fun. You're allowed to play as an adult. Don't fall into that. That's terrible. But you have some obligations that you feel are dragging you down. If that starts to be the case, just remind yourself, this is why I'm doing this. This is why I'm integrating elements of the deep inner joy that I've found by observing what I'm being shown in the subconscious levels, the mythic levels of things, once I get alone with my alligator. And this is what you're working this into your life. You're weaving this into your life so you don't have to do these obligations without having access to this. Your next step on the path line, we have Algiz reversed. Algiz is the rune of the elk, otherwise known as the moose, and this has to do with protection and support. It is reversed on the path line, which means inner. So it's your inner support. It's your inner protection. It is you standing up for yourself. It is you giving yourself your own support, your own protection, and feeling confident to stand up in the world as who you are, regardless of what everybody else is trying to make you be, and regardless of what's coming at you. What is going to help you with this? This ties into this. We have Berkana, which is the rune of the birch tree. The birch tree, this has to do with beginnings and birth. With this, you began an incubation. It's the kernels, it's the seeds. So the seeds of your inner joy are starting to sprout and starting to grow, and this is going to start to cause a deep inner birthing to begin. It's a new you that's becoming generated by this the creative way that you're creating. It's yang creation, so it's like actively creating this based on the seeds of joy that you found deep inside, and now you're birthing a new you from deep inside. You're starting to become, and it's deep inside. This may also be turning away from a beginning that you had while you were out in the world being buffeted by justify all the crazy. So we're going to end that beginning, and we're going to start a deeper beginning based on these seeds and based on this creative integration of what you discovered is bringing you joy from deep inside with your life and obligations, so that you're never alone as far as joy goes. Joy is always with you as long as you're doing this. So you're starting this new beginning with yourself. You're beginning a new you. What isn't going to help is we have Ansu's, which is the rune of communication and manifestation, expression. You're worried about it. You're worried about this new sense of this new you and how it may express itself in the world. This is a very positive rune in a negative spot, so it's a worry about that thing. It is tied to the things that got to be too much for you. It is tied to the things that shocked you. It is tied to the things that your obligations from before, and that you're worried that based on that, your new expression of self is where you're integrating your alligator, or at least using your alligator to get the seeds of joy that you're integrating. You're worried it might be too much as you go out into the world, but this is you're birthing it. It's not casual. It's gradual. It's a new growth. It's new birth. People will hopefully barely notice until suddenly you're somebody much more of you than you were before out in the world, feeling much more confident in the world as well. And it was like, wow, I didn't realize you were this cool. It's like, yes, I am. Your outcome for this reading is Nauthi's reversed. Nauthi's is the rune of need. I do usually read this as it's an emergency, drop everything and take care of your needs, but it is reversed on the path line, and I am really seeing this as taking care of your inner needs. This is how you're going to do it. Because I don't think you were before. I think that's what led to all of this, is that you were just sort of letting your inner needs be ignored. And please don't do that. Your alligator, or caiman in this case, is saying, look, I have important information. If you can just quiet yourself and come join me for a bit, then you can see it. And that's what's happened. So by the time you reach this point where you are feeling much more confident and able to stand up in the world, you're going to be very, very attuned to your inner needs, which you weren't before. And as you go forward in the world, that's going to be a big focus of yours. You're going to do the things that you need to do. You're going to take care of your obligations. You're going to be out there in the world, comfortable, confident, taking care of things. And what's going to keep you that way is making sure that your inner needs are taken care of immediately. As soon as you feel one, you're like, okay, I know. And maybe the things around you will tell you what you need to do to take care of that, or maybe your dreams will tell you what you need to do to take care of that. But you're being an active observer of this, the moon, your deep inner needs, your alligator, and you are going to be able to act on that. And that's going to make you much more comfortable out in the world. So that alligator number 12 caiman for people is your reading about Pick-an-Alligator. So I wish you all the best with this, and I wish you a lovely day or evening. Take care till next time. Bye.